So when we arrived in '96, our purpose was to engage in a project that was meant to focus in the northern province, one of the poorest areas of the country, in the rural areas of the northern province, now called Limpopo province, to work in a number of schools to bridge the gap between schools and their communities and to assist teachers in their teaching and classroom management skills. We had in our first group 32 volunteers that were very deliberately selected to be a diverse group of volunteers. We want to represent to this new country, this new and emerging democracy, the historic democracy and diversity of the United States. We had a very diverse group. I, as an African American, was the country director. We had as the associate director for education an Asian American woman, and as the director of administration, white American man. And our volunteers were in a group of 32, I think 17 were white Americans, 10 were African American, 4 were Latino, and 3 were Asian. Very diverse. And those of you who know Peace Corps will know that folks said to us, where and how did you get this group? But it was a good thing because our purpose was, again, to represent the diversity and democracy of the United States as a nation to the people of South Africa who have their own very dramatic diversities, very dramatic divisions. And we were there to be part of that emerging democracy. So this meant putting our volunteers in a community that was essentially the black community, working in the black schools, but being involved still in the economic structure there, in which those farms, those communities were economically controlled by white South Africans, who now were part of the new South Africa. So we went into these communities that were very diverse but very divided, and through symbolism and through actual things, South Africa worked very hard at being one. In fact, you can't see it here, but there's an emblem that our volunteers took up, in a phrase called Simunye, which means we are one. If there are the other volunteers here, they might be able to affirm this, but because we were new, and as I said, they were trying to come to learn about these people that were volunteers. Remember that volunteer has a different connotation in some countries. Here, it's a very valued thing because we have a history. In some cultures, volunteers are those people who just can't get real work. So there was some skepticism about, why are you sending us these people? Can't they get jobs in the United States? And we explained that no, that's not the case. These are some of our best and some of our brightest. And their question was, well, why would they come here to live in these places where we live? And it took a while to explain it, and they never really bought it until the volunteers got there and they experienced it. I guess I would guess that they saw that Americans, from, as someone said before, from the movies, from all the pop things about the United States, they see them as super rich, super privileged, super not so high in their values, in terms of their traditional values, and they had to learn that these people these young people or older people, our oldest volunteer was in her 60s, and the youngest were probably 22 to 23, and as I said, they were African American, Asian American, Latino, European American, men, women, represented all the diversity. So the message was about, this is what the United States is. It is all of this. It is all of this together. It is all of this separately. And they would come to know the individuals, but almost without fail. This cap I'm wearing represents the flag of South Africa, and it's an amalgamation of all the past flags of South Africa, and it's meant to capture all the cultures. And you'll hear when in Nkosi Sikelel' the South African national anthem is sung, it's sung in Zulu, in Sotho, in English, and Afrikaans. And it's very much about making a very diverse and warring people among themselves a single nation. So our purpose there was to be part of that by helping teachers be more effective in teaching a curriculum that was not meant to subvert them or to subordinate them, but to make them part of the new nation. And our volunteers worked very hard at that and became part of those communities. Interestingly, the last point I'll make is that we had to tell them what Peace Corps was, but what surprised us is that we had to tell them what Peace Corps was not. And while it had been there for some years, they were not very aware of this new agency. And if you think about it, Peace Corps is a brand name recognized around the world for 50 years. But if you take off the capital P and the capital C, and just those two words together, what does that mean? They often thought it meant a peacekeeping force of the United Nations type. They thought it might be a police force, that it was not. So we had to explain what it was, and that took some doing. But once they found out about it, they embraced it, and it was a super experience. Is there by chance any Peace Corps volunteer here that served in South Africa? Whoa, yay for you. Thank you for being here.